everyone, welcome to another episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and this is the show we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. I am joined today on this beautiful Monday afternoon by the very beautiful Miss Lisa Locke McGahee.
Hello.
All right, guys, yes, we're one day early. A lot of news to talk about, of course. We're doing a day early just because Lisa's got something to do tomorrow. She works, so we're going to get through all this stuff. And that way I don't have to do it by myself tomorrow as well, because I hate doing these things by myself.
Well, that's why we're doing it today. I'm off today because I have to be at work tomorrow for something important, so here we go.
Here we go, of course. All right, so guys, if you are listening to us for the first time, we're going to run down some recent stories that happened. We usually start off with a little Marvel and DC news, then move on to Star Wars and Harry Potter, and then kind of miscellaneous stuff. So, with that in mind, Lisa, you ready to rock?
Yep.
Even though you have not read the notes and are completely unprepared.
I watched the trailers.
And have no idea what we're about to talk about.
Well, that doesn't matter, though. I'm prepared, though, because I've watched the trailers. I surely have things to say about what we're going to talk about. Whether or not I know.
Well, of course, because I prepared the notes with stuff with you in mind, of course.
Exactly.
You know?
See, so I'm fine. I'll be fine. I'm killing it.
All right. So, all right. Starting off in the world of Marvel news, the big Marvel news that kind of broke last week was that Fox's X-Men franchise has been going strong for 16 years now. Started back in 2000 with X-Men, directed by Bryan Singer, and has since then had 9 films that have grossed over $4 billion worldwide. Now, this last summer's X-Men film, X-Men Apocalypse, made $544 million, which is down from the previous installment, X-Men Days of Future Past, which was $748 million. Now, Fox kind of sees this as a disappointment, so they're looking to maybe revamp the franchise a little bit. And according to The Hollywood Reporter, an unnamed source has said that they're possibly rebooting the X-Men film franchise altogether. Now, this source said that producer Simon Kinberg will stay on to see the new launch, and that he's writing a script right now with the hopes that Jennifer Lawrence, Michael Fassbender, and James McAvoy will come back, even though their 3-picture deals are done. They're at the end of their contract. However, it said that Bryan Singer, who's directed 4 X-Men films now, is not going to come back. Okay? Now, Fox is also moving forward with their X-Men universe. They got Deadpool 2 coming up. After the success of the first Deadpool movie, they kind of fast-tracked that. And they also have Deadpool 3, actually, they're thinking about. So they're already looking to the future for that. They also had the Gambit film, which was on the horizon, starring Channing Tatum. That film was actually supposed to come out like this month. And they still, as far as I know, don't have a script. They finally signed a director, Doug Liman, although no news has been given on that film for quite some time now. They've got another film, New Mutants, by Josh Boone, which is said to be kind of picking up steam in the studio as well. But the one sure thing we're going to do is get Logan, the film that comes out on March 3rd, 2017, starring Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart. Some are saying this could be the end of the X-Men franchise as we know it, and then, of course, reboot as well. And some saying, or maybe it's probably fitting that way, given that you have Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman, who have kind of led this franchise, and then they're in this kind of final film. What do you think? Do you think they should reboot? Do you think they should keep going? What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think they should reboot. I mean, I feel bad that I don't like that. Like, they feel like Apocalypse is a failure. Like, I liked Apocalypse. Yeah. I mean, I didn't like it nearly as well as Days of Future Past.
No.
But Days of Future Past was a really great film.
I put it one of the top 5 superhero films of all time, honestly.
I don't think that there was really any chance Apocalypse was going to be... you can't really compare it. Days of Future Past was so good. Mm-hmm. And Apocalypse wasn't bad. But I don't think they need to reboot. I think that They've got so many good characters in it.
They essentially have rebooted, because at the end of Apocalypse, you had the new team. You had Cyclops
right, exactly.
and Jean. And remember, we're in a different timeline, so it's not like they're going to redo the first couple of X-Men movies. It's going to be all different, and you have a good team. What's one of the positive things that came out of X-Men Apocalypse, that no matter how they felt about the film, everyone agreed they want to see this new team. They want to see Storm, Nightcrawler, Cyclops.
Yeah, no, I think they were great. So I maybe just calling it a reboot is what I don't like. If they continue using that team and just continue on, they could even still include McAvoy, because he would be their teacher, and they could still have Fassbender out there if they want. I don't think Jennifer Lawrence is interested anymore.
I mean, really, like I said, people think she phoned in the last one, which I don't really believe, but I know she's got bigger things.
Yeah, she's done with these.
I mean, really, the only out of the three I think they need is McAvoy.
Yeah, and I think he's the easiest one to fit in because these kids are kids still. Yeah. So, like, he could be their, their leader again.
Yeah, of course.
Lead them the way. I mean, I don't think... Maybe it's just the term reboot that I don't like. I think they just need to continue with this group.
I mean, I'm on two sides of this. Where, like, again, I think they have a good jumping off point from X-Men Apocalypse, where I think they could really call it a soft reboot because with the kids they got at the end of Apocalypse. Let's throw Jennifer Lawrence out there. Let's throw Mystique out. Let's keep in Fassbender as Professor X and Nicholas Hoult as Beast as kind of their teachers.
Yeah,
I'm totally fine with that. Because, again, we're going in a whole new direction, uncharted territory. They're not going to redo X-Men and X2, totally different direction. Right. But at the same time, people always say with the X-Men movies, there's a lot of continuity errors as far as that goes. And just a lot of issues with how it's all come together. And people were like, well, let's, throw it out, start fresh. That way they can, have that structure that something like the Marvel Universe has where it all is more well planned out. Because when the first X-Men movie started, and as those first couple of movies continued, they really weren't thinking long term. I mean, literally Fox with X3 was trying to kill the franchise. They were trying to end the X-Men franchise with X3 The Last Stand, which they realized was a huge mistake because when that film came out, that's just when superhero and comic book movies were starting to get going, and they're like, oh, wait, maybe we shouldn't end this franchise. Maybe there's more we can do with it. And then, of course, they did kind of a soft reboot as well with X-Men First Class. So with this, again, I think it'd be another jumping off point to do kind of a soft reboot. Continuity, of course, nobody cares.
The thing with continuity, though, anytime you have a film franchise that has any kind of time travel, which they could easily...
Well, essentially they've done that.
That's what I mean. So anytime there's time travel, the continuity eras can't really exist because... Yeah. If there's any kind of time travel, then that can easily explain away a continuity error.
I mean, at this point, the only thing that is part of the X-Men canon in the films is X-Men First Class, the events that happened in the 1970s in Days of Future Past, and X-Men Apocalypse. So as long as those three films match up, you can forget all the rest of it, really. I mean, Deadpool, of course, is thrown in there. It is part of the universe. It's present day, where X-Men is still... in the past. So some people were thinking, instead of, Apocalypse or Days of Future Past being this jump off point for a new era of X-Men films, make Deadpool the new era of the jumping off point. Because in Deadpool, you got Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
I love that name.
And that was it. That was really the only X-Men you've seen. So if you throw in everything else and just have Deadpool, the only thing you have to work off is Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And, they weren't in the film that much. They didn't have much, character or, depth or... Development, exactly. So you don't know much about them. So it's not like you really have to, you're holding to anything with those characters from that film as well. I could see both sides of it. I don't know, really. I mean, they have a lot of stuff planned. To just kind of throw everything out, I think would be a little waste, I guess. Because I do think Channing Tatum as Gambit...
I don't really care about that.
I don't really care. I want to see a Gambit film, but what happened was they had this big budget plan for this film, $150 million, and then Deadpool happened. And then they realized this, $50 million, $60 million film that was about, one central character did so well and looked so good, and they're like, why are we spending $150 million on this film? And that's what kind of started the whole, revamp of that film. Well, I want to see a Gambit film, and I think they could do it as long as it's a smaller film, much like Deadpool was. I agree they need to rethink everything. And Doug Liman on it, I think he'd do a fine job in that film. One thing they're looking to as well in the Deadpool sequel is to introduce the mutants known as Cable and Domino and span off an X-Force film. Now, X-Force being the kind of edgier, almost hit squad of the X-Men universe, so I can see that going that way as well. They seem to have a lot of plans for the X-Men films, but I just don't see them with all the things that we've heard about them just kind of, throwing out the baby with the bathwater and just starting anew, I guess. But anyway, we'll just have to wait and see. In any event, X-Men Apocalypse, I thought it was a fine film. I mean,
Yeah, I thought it was fine. It just wasn't as good as Days of Future Past.
I agree. It wasn't as a film. I'll agree. It's not as good as X-Men Days of Future Past. But for me, as an X-Men fan, I enjoyed the hell out of it because of all the X-Men references and things that they do in the comic books that we haven't seen yet in the movies. One of which saying like a psychic battle, which I love. They did the psychic battle because that's kind of a good staple and one thing they do all the time in comic books. And again, it's going to something where when the first X-Men movie came out, it was one of those pioneers in the genre. So it really didn't embrace what the X-Men was fully and go all in. Now in this day and age where superhero films, the comic book films are mainstream, they're the blockbusters, they're what's popular. X-Men Apocalypse, as you saw, dove more into the potential of what X-Men could be and what you could do with the characters. So to stop it now, I'm like, they're just getting to the good stuff. I think, let's go forward with the new Cyclops and Storm and Jean Grey and go from there. But at the same time, again, now that they know the potential of it, they could go back from the very beginning and, dive in deep, much like, say, the Marvel Studio films are, where they've embraced the character lores a little more. But,
yeah.
No. All right, guys. So, moving on from there, there's no Marvel news. Besides that, I got no DC news, sadly. Really no Star Wars news except tomorrow, kind of a semi-big Star Wars day. We got the new James Luceno book coming out, Rogue One Catalyst, which is going to be kind of the prequel or setup for Rogue One. Catalyst, exactly.
Hence the title.
Exactly. That sets up the Rogue One film. I'm excited to read this, especially since Collider's Christian Harloff has read it, and he said it is the best canon book so far. He recommends anyone excited for Rogue One to read it. Is your excitement for this more, Lisa, after hearing good things about it?
I pre-ordered it. It should be in my Audible as soon as it comes out.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out, because I don't really want to pay for it, really, so I'm still trying to figure out how I can read it. As long as I read it before I go see Rogue One, I'll be fine.
You can listen to it on Audible.
I don't like listening to it, okay? I listen to podcasts in the car. I don't need one more thing to listen to. But I'll figure something out. I'll find it. I bet the library will have it sometime soon. I could do that, or even, I'll figure out something. But anyway, that comes out tomorrow, guys. And also tomorrow coming out is a new special edition of Star Wars The Force Awakens. This one's going to be the 3D version / Blu-ray. And on this one, we're actually getting director's commentary with J.J. Abrams.
Yeah,
for me,
more money to spend
that's
on the same movie
exactly.
We have.
Well, I can't even count on, I could probably count on two hands how many times I've bought the original trilogy in my life, but it's definitely more than one hand. So, in any event, I'm looking forward to the director's commentary. I know a lot of people were severely disappointed when that first edition came out and there was no director commentary. I'm the kind of guy that actually, enjoys that stuff. I know you don't enjoy it as much.
No, I don't.
But being that you are a Star Wars fan, do you have any interest in listening to the commentary?
I mean, sure. I mean, I like making of featurettes.
Yeah.
I don't really like listening to commentaries very much. I don't have the patience to sit through an entire movie of hearing someone talk over the movie. That's just not my. But I love special features. I like making of featurettes and all the little deep where they dig in and show you all the different segments on like props and
you haven't watched the X-Men Apocalypse special features yet, have you?
No, I don't.
There's a one that's a really long one that's actually pretty good. And speaking of commentaries, like I said, I'm a commentary guy. The X-Men Apocalypse commentary, much like the Days Future Past commentary, Bryan Singer and Simon Kinberg do it, and I love them both. Actually, they're both really good. But yeah, the X-Men Apocalypse feature I should definitely check out. I'm not sure what kind of new special features this thing will have. The main thing, of course, is going to be with the Force Awakens, it's going to be like a cooler packaging and also the commentary. So I'm not sure what kind of special features it's going to have besides that. But my plan is to buy this, and then I can sell my Force Awakens original Blu-ray to Josh to make a little bit of my money back. So that's what I usually do with my digital. When I buy digital comics that I have already on paperback or hard copy, I usually sell them back to Josh for pretty much the amount I paid for the digital version to make my money back. So I'm pretty savvy like that.
I see.
All right, guys. So that's some Star Wars news that is going to happen tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. So let's step over into a little world called The Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Maybe you've heard of it, Lisa.
I have.
Okay.
I have heard of it.
So, we are T-minus 3 days until Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. I was going to say, how excited are you as we're getting closer?
Excited.
Right. So, as they're prepping for this film to come out, of course, they're doing interviews with the cast and the directors and all this stuff. And we're getting more news in regards to the upcoming sequel for Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. So the first little tidbit is in regards to Johnny Depp being cast in the sequel film. Now, according to director David Yates, who did an interview with the Harry Potter fan site, The Leaky Cauldron, he pretty much confirmed that Depp will be playing Geralt Grindelwald. How do you say that first name?
Hold on, let me look at it. Gellert Grindelwald.
Gellert Grindelwald, who is the Dark Wizard who was once a friend of Albus Dumbledore. So, according to Yates, he said, quote, "The whole principle of casting the movie was to go with the best actor, go for the most inspired, interesting, right fit for the character. And as we approached Grindelwald, we thought, who's going to take this to an interesting direction? In this business, it's a weird old business. You're brilliant one week, people are saying odd things the next. You go up and down, but no one takes away your pure talent. Johnny Depp is a real artist. He's created several characters who have really resonated with our popular culture. He's a really brilliant actor. We were excited about seeing what he could do with this guy, the character. He's fearless, he's based, we don't care if he's famous or not. We just know that he's interesting." So this all, of course, confirming that Johnny Depp will not be playing Dumbledore like some people speculated. He's going to be playing Grindelwald. And Yates also said that they have yet to cast a young Dumbledore for the sequel as well. So possibly we're not going to see Dumbledore in, having a brief cameo in this Fantastic Beasts films. But
He'll have to be in the next one, though.
But he has pretty much...
if they're going to put Grindelwald in, that means Dumbledore's on his way.
Exactly. So, and he said also about the sequel as well, they're looking to do other places, going to places such as Paris, and then going back to the UK, where the first Harry Potter films are set as well. So this is the first story that we have right now for the Fantastic Beasts sequel. Johnny Depp playing Grindelwald. I don't know much about the character. You're, more familiar with him. What do you think about that?
I think it could be fine. I don't know. Johnny Depp, it's hard to... Because, it's like they said, he has made... he has had some really amazing, iconic roles throughout his career. He is. He has proven time and time again he is a really great actor. And
memorable characters. Regardless of what you think about, the characters, they are quite memorable.
Right, exactly. And even... yes, he has done some really bad movies, and he has played some really annoying, over-the-top characters. But I feel like even when he does that, he brings to the role what they want it to be. Mm-hmm. So I think that he'll play this. I hope that he'll play Grindelwald the way that they want him to, and that it'll be awesome, because, I hope so. He plays a good bad guy, and I feel like Grindelwald. Yes. Grindelwald is a bad guy.
I think he could be a good bad guy. Again, I just don't want that over the top, Mad Hatter performance.
Well, it's not. I think they won't. He does those weirdest ones when he's in Tim Burton movies. Yeah. This is not a Tim Burton movie. He plays those roles the way that they want him to, though. I think he plays the Mad Hatter exactly like they ask him to do it. You don't think so?
I think so.
You're making a weird face
but at the same time, it's Johnny Depp. Who's going to ask him to do anything? He's going to do Johnny Depp.
I don't think so.
Anyway, but so for me, Johnny Depp, good actor. I'll say he's a great actor. It depends on what kind of performance he brings, of course, or of course what they ask him to do. But really, I think is what it's going to come down to is it looks like for the sequels they're setting up the infamous duel between Grindelwald and Dumbledore, mm-hmm. and they're wanting to set up their friendship as well. So for me, it's like it's not really about who Johnny Depp plays Grindelwald. But who are they going to get to play opposite him, Dumbledore? Because it's about the chemistry. It's like, McAvoy and Fassbender. They have terrific chemistry, and it really makes both their performances pop. Mm-hmm. So, you can get Johnny Depp for Grindelwald, but you got to have someone opposite him who's really going to, produce something together.
Well, and that you're right. That's going to be a really, really important part because they were, like, best friends. Mm-hmm. They
much had, like Xavier and Magneto.
Right. They had a really strong bond and a really, a relationship that, if that doesn't work, then seeing them fight at the end isn't going to work because
I'm curious too. So, because of this whole news, you think this is just he's answering the questions people want, or do you think this whole Wizarding world is going to go? I mean, I guess we haven't seen Fantastic Beasts yet, but do you think they're going to keep the focus on the next couple films on Newt, or are they going to, pivot over to Dumbledore and Grindelwald being the main focus? Do you think?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're going to have all the next few films coming from Newt's point of view. Like, maybe he'll still be, like...
He'll be the main
character. And it'll be how he interacts with these other...
He'll be like the third leg of the tripod of Grindelwald and Dumbledore, and he sees them, fall apart, I guess, through his eyes, pretty much. It could be. I'm not sure. I mean, they got 5 films that they're thinking about, so we'll just have to wait and see how it all goes. Let me ask you this, too. In regards to, they said they haven't cast Dumbledore yet. I mean, would you rather see an unknown as Dumbledore or more of a famous actor such as they did with Johnny Depp? Because, a lot of people for these infamous roles, they want people that are unknown because it helps with the perception of the character.
I mean, I don't know. It's going to be really hard just because the first time they recast Dumbledore was a disaster. Michael Gambon was terrible. He tried, I said this before, he tried too hard to make Dumbledore his own instead of making Dumbledore what Dumbledore is. And so I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I know that whoever they cast as Dumbledore has got to play well off Johnny Depp. And if that chemistry is with an unknown, then awesome. If it's with somebody that we already know and is already a great actor, then fine. I just think that the most important thing is for the character for the relationship between those two characters to be believable.
Yeah.
So I don't really care who they get to play it as long as it works better than Michael Gambon did as Dumbledore because he was horrible.
Such hate now.
He was horrible.
Oh, come on now.
He was horrible.
He wasn't that bad.
Yes, he was. He played Dumbledore so wrong. It was so wrong. It was so wrong. So wrong. Harry Potter fans out there, come on. You got my back on this. He was so wrong. He just played it badly.
But you still cried when he died.
Well, it's still Dumbledore. And I didn't cry about Dumbledore. I cried to everyone's responses to Dumbledore's Harry's pain and Hagrid's pain. That's what you cry about. I wasn't sad that Michael Gambon's character was dead.
Well, I mean, you had to have some kind of attachment to the character done well by the actor.
By the other actors.
Okay, so you're crying in the 6th film because the actor in the 2nd film playing Dumbledore.
No, because the characters around him were upset by his death.
All right, okay. All right, so moving on from there, sticking in the Wizarding world and Fantastic Beasts. So David Yates, again, talking more about Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. He talked to The Hollywood Reporter. Now, as we know, Yates is set to direct the sequel for Fantastic Beasts and where to find them, which I believe comes out in 2018. J.K. Rowling is hard work polishing up the script right now. And according to The Hollywood Reporter, he said that not only is he going to be directing the sequel, he's going to be directing all 5 of the planned films. Wow. Actually, that's coming out. He said, quote, "I love making films, and I've got a great team, all of whom are like family." Yates went on just to say he plans on making his films that are as long as possible. Now, Yates has already done 4 films in the Wizarding world. He did The Order of Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, and The Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. He's doing Fantastic Beasts. He's doing the sequel. That's, 3 more films or 4 more films after that. I don't know about this, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I will say that those last couple Harry Potter films, they kept getting better and better, which, when he said he was going to direct Fantastic Beasts, got me excited to actually see this film. Because I wasn't quite sure about it. It's a spinoff, a money grab, etc., etc. But when you bring the guy who made, the really good Harry Potter films, I was like, yeah, I think it'd be good. You got J.K. Rowling writing, you got Yates directing. So
still producers too. I think Heyman is still producing.
And you have the team. You have the team that made Harry Potter, the film's such a phenomenon, continuing on. And he's, like he said, he has got this team around him who he has been with for such a long time. They all know each other very well. They work well together, obviously, given the films they've produced and made. So at the same time, yeah, it could be a good thing. But in Hollywood, there is that little bit of director's fatigue where, directors stay on a franchise for so long that they essentially get burned out. I mean, people say Sam Raimi was burnt out by the third Spider-Man film. Nolan was burnt out by the third, Dark Knight film. And even, some are saying that with Bryan Singer as well with Apocalypse. So it's one of those things where staying on a certain franchise can be a good thing because, you work very well with the people around you. You know them so well. You know what to expect of them. Or it's, oh, here we go. Just another one. Let's just get on with this. I can do it in my sleep. And you might not get such a good product.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I hope it doesn't deteriorate. But
because Yates, he really, I know he was known for smaller, I think TV and stuff like that. He really didn't do, I think his first big feature film was The Order of the Phoenix. And that's really the only films he's done is the Harry Potter or Wizarding films. So
is that true?
As far as I know, when I looked it up, actually, I'm pretty sure he really, I know the Harry Potter films were his first big films, but when I was kind of looking it up or when I got this story, they referenced that really he hasn't done many movies or a movie unless it's a Harry Potter J.K. Rowling film is what it is. And I found that kind of interesting. So for him to just stay completely in this world, I don't know, maybe he really loves it that much or he's just maybe afraid to move on. I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe they're paying him a crap load of money.
That's probably
I'm probably going to go with option C, if it can be honest. So you looking it up?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so while you're looking that up, let's go and move on to the next story. We're going to dip out of the Harry Potter world and jump into Lord of the Rings, kind of. So J.R.R. Rowling, J.R.R. Tolkien, who wrote the great novels The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, is going to be the subject of a new biopic that is moving forward, directed by James Strong, who is best known for for his work in Doctor Who, Downton Abbey, and Broadchurch, is going to direct the upcoming biopic of J.R.R. Tolkien. This is all according to Deadline, who said that the film is going to be based on a script by Angus Fletcher. Now, Fletcher spent the last 6 years researching J.R.R. Tolkien through archived material and personal interviews and has got a script all set and ready to go. No production schedule has been revealed at this time. Now, it is said that this story is mainly going to focus on Tolkien's early life and his love affair with Edith Bratt, whom he later married. It's going to be about Tolkien's life in Oxford before he became an author and was sent off to fight in World War I. Going to talk about how his experiences in World War I inspired his tales of Middle-earth as well. Now, previously, a Tolkien biopic was set at Fox Searchlight back in 2013, but it did not move forward and did not get in production. The Lord of the Rings trilogy earned over $300 billion worldwide at the box office. Lisa, what do you think about a biopic about J.R.R. Tolkien?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, the stuff I've read about him and interviews with his family and people that knew him, I think his life was very interesting, and I think it would be very interesting to hear or to see what, what inspired him. Because, there's a lot out there about where the inspiration for his films came from. His movies, his books, his books.
So I feel like we're now getting a new wave
of biopics?
Of biopics based on things that are popular. Like Lord of the Rings is, popular franchise, so we're going to get a biopic on that author. Marvel movies are big. We're getting a semi-biopic.
I don't even know how they can call that a biopic.
And then they're doing the biopic about the guy who made Wonder Woman as well. So I feel like, you get to that point where now all these characters that are big and popular, you're going to get... I'm just waiting for the George Lucas biopic, really, at this point, too. It's kind of a new age, so to speak, where you have all these popular things such as comic books and Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and all this other stuff. And the next step would be to... bounce off of that franchise or take advantage of the popularity and do a story about the authors or the creators of those characters and films. So. But Tolkien, it sounds like an interesting story. You could have some really good war scenes in there. Maybe not as graphic as what we saw in Hacksaw Ridge
hopefully not.
The other night. But definitely something, see those inspirations as well. Kind of see the... I could see, visually picturing stuff that I've seen in the Lord of the Rings films, and giving it a World War I slant to where he's like, he directly takes something that he went through in the battlefield and then, puts that, in a fantasy perspective, so to speak. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Again, we're all interested to see how people came up with, these ideas. I wonder if they're going to touch it all with his relationship with C.S. Lewis, who, wrote the Chronicles of Narnia as well, because they had a very close relationship, from what I've told, very good friends. Didn't C.S. Lewis also fight in World War I?
I think so.
I think so. So that could be interesting. Maybe they could do something where, like, they meet and talk. And
I have no idea.
I don't know. That could be interesting as well. But we'll just have to wait and see about that. All right, guys. So the last part here, we're going to talk about a couple trailers. So little segment I'm going to call Trailer Talk. Right? It's very clever. It's very clever. All right, guys. So a couple trailers came out these last couple days, so we're going to just go through them. Lisa and I just went through and watched them again, or for her watching them for the first time. I watched them for the second or third time. So we're just going to talk about them. So first up, we got the first trailer for Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. This is the film by director Luc Bessons, who is best known for directing films such as The Fifth Element and Lucy. Now, Valerian is based off the French sci-fi comic book Valerian and Laureline. The film stars Daniel Dehaene and Cara Delevingne as Valerian and Laureline, agents for the government of the human territories enlisted with maintaining order throughout the universe. Under the directive from their commander, played by Clive Owen, Valerian and Laureline embark on a mission to the breathtaking intergalactic city of Alpha, an ever-expanding metropolis comprised of thousands of different species from all four corners of the universe. Alpha's 17 million inhabitants have converged over time, uniting their talents, technology, and resources for the betterment of all. Unfortunately, not everyone in Alpha shares in these same objectives. In fact, unseen forces are at work, placing our race in great danger. The film opens July 21st, 2017, and also stars Rihanna, Ethan Hawke, and John Goodman. Lisa, you saw the trailer just a little while ago. What did you think of that spectacle?
I don't know. I mean, I thought that it was obviously a first trailer. It didn't really tell you anything about what was going on.
Yeah, as far as you just saw a lot of action.
All you saw was a really cool, like, graphic design of, like, the city and the planets and the stuff.
Yeah, like get a glimpse of the world.
Yeah, like, that's really all it did. It was basically trying, you saw a bunch of cool aliens, and you saw a bunch of action. Like, so, like, the trailer for me was underwhelming. Mm-hmm. But I like when trailers show you at least a smidgen of what the film is about. Like, this told me nothing.
Well, again, it's the first trailer, so it's essentially a teaser trailer.
I know, but it didn't tease me in that I want to see it. It looked to me just like any other space adventure.
But again, at the same time, you know nothing about this property. Say if they teased you on, say, another X-Men movie, you're familiar with X-Men, you know what X-Men's about. So if you got an X-Men teaser trailer with just shots and nothing about the plot, you'd be more excited.
Yeah, but that's different.
How is that different?
Because that's what I'm saying. They don't have to give you any more because you already have a familiarity.
Exactly.
With these, they need to give you a little more because you don't have a familiarity. You see what I'm saying?
I totally get what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, if you were familiar with the franchise, of course, you'd be more excited with something that just showed you.
Agreed. I'm not disagreeing with you. We're on the same line here. So what I'm saying is because we don't know anything about this, they need to give you more in a teaser.
But people who are familiar with the franchise probably got really excited about it because they are familiar with it.
Okay, it's a French graphic novel. Is that what it is?
French sci-fi comic book.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that the pocket of people that are familiar with this already is pretty fucking small. So let's assume that 95% of the people that saw this teaser have no idea.
No, I would say 99.9% have no idea.
So that point you just made is completely irrelevant.
Anyway, go for it.
That's what I'm saying, is that this trailer to me was underwhelming because it didn't, to me it just looked like, it was obvious to me that it was the same guy that did The Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Which is fun. I love The Fifth Element. So that gives me, but I didn't see Lucy. I didn't hear good things about Lucy. Mm-hmm. But this trailer also reminded me of the trailers to Lucy, where it was all like lights and fluorescent stuff and lots of action. And that movie, from what I heard, was fairly underwhelming also. Mm-hmm. So, and with The Fifth Element, I love The Fifth Element. But I know a lot of people who did not like The Fifth Element. So I think having front and center from the director of The Fifth Element and Lucy maybe isn't exactly what you should put right.
But those are his most famous films. So.
Right, I know that. But they also, neither one of them was like universally well loved.
But you did just say there's a pocket of people that did like The Fifth Element.
There is a pocket of people.
So when you see this film and you're like, whatever, and they're like, from the guy who made Fifth Element, Fifth Element, really?
Yeah, but that's a very small number of people. It's just like with, for example, to go back to, or not go back to, we didn't really talk about, Hacksaw Ridge. In all the trailers, they didn't say anywhere Mel Gibson. Because Mel Gibson
has a bad
puts
reputation.
a bad taste in people's mouth. So they didn't mention him on purpose. So with this, Lucy and The Fifth Element leave a bad taste in people's mouths. So why would you boo, Lucy? I mean, they made it huge on the screen. I mean, they spent a large part of that trailer from the director of The Fifth Element and Lucy. I mean, it was huge. It just seems like a weird thing to focus on when those aren't two movies where the vast majority of people are going to be like, oh, yeah!
But a vast majority of people know those movies as well.
But they don't like them.
But the Fifth Element, I'm not going to say, Lucy, got bad reviews, but I think there's more people than you think
that like the Fifth Element.
That whole Fifth Element in favor.
I agree. I just think if you're going to use a previous movie to attract people to a current movie, it should be a previous movie that everybody loved. It's like, if you're going to do a Peter Jackson movie, you're going to put front and center from the director of The Lord of the Rings.
Not from The Hobbit.
Exactly. That's my point. So it just seemed like a weird choice to me to take two movies that are not universally adored and use them as the front and center. You know what I mean? That's my point.
Okay. All right. So for me, this trailer, I'm a big sci-fi guy, so it looked very interesting. It looks like something that could be really cool. Really, to me, it almost gave me it wasn't Luke, Luke Benson guy. It was almost, okay, straight up, I got a Jupiter Ascending vibe.
I was totally thinking that.
Jupiter Ascending vibe.
Another movie that was not well liked.
Exactly. A big budget, film with lots of special effects that's pretty far out there story-wise. And because it was pretty far out there story-wise, people didn't respond very well to it.
Exactly.
So I'm getting kind of that vibe, but at the same time, with Jupiter Ascending, it did have some good elements in it.
I didn't hate Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah, I didn't hate it.
I didn't
but
love
it wasn't, you could see its flaws.
For sure.
For sure. But again, it just depends on the execution of it. I think if the actors and the directors are gonna, you really have to rely on them for this kind of big budget film, because they're, with all this, these special effects and these aliens and stuff like that, you have to make the audience care about these characters, and it's going to be up to the director and the actors, the main leads, Daniel Day-Han and Cara Delevingne, to really pull people into this world, to make them care about them, because if you buy the characters, you're going to buy the world, they're going to get invested, and everything else is going to be icing on the cake. So for me, I like Daniel Day-Han. Cara Delevingne, I'm not too familiar with. The only thing I really say I've seen her in is Suicide Squad. And she had such little part of that film that, I really can't get a good grasp of what she's like. So I'm looking forward. I want to see another trailer. Again, let's get another trailer with the story, see how it goes. But as of right now, I don't have high hopes for it. But it's definitely something that I want to go see. I'll give you that. So. All right, so moving on to the next trailer. I believe it was yesterday that they released the first trailer, or another trailer, I guess you could say, for Ghost in the Shell, starring Scarlett Johansson. Now, they have released little mini 10-second snippets last couple of months, which people are kind of upset about. I see people taking those snippets and putting them together for a longer trailer. But this one was the first official 2-minute trailer. The film comes out March 31st, 2017, and is directed by Rupert Sanders, who directed Snow White and The Huntsman. I don't think they put that on there because, again, it would put a bad taste in people's mouth. So the film is based on the famous Kondo Shah Comics Magna series by the same name. Ghost in the Shell follows...
Isn't it manga?
Manga? Manga?
Manga,
Well,
not
see,
magna.
That's exactly why I don't know these things.
Not magna.
Ghost in the Shell follows the Major, a special ops, one-of-a-kind human-cyborg hybrid, played by Johansson, who leads the Elite Task Force Section 9. Devoted to stopping the most dangerous criminals and extremists, Section 9 is faced with an enemy whose singular goal is to wipe out Henko Robotics' advancement in cyber technology. Okay, kind of okay, when I got a taste of Jupiter Ascending for the Valerian trailer, with this one, I get a very familiar taste of that Charlize Theron movie, Aeon Flux.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
I got a very similar taste in it. So, one thing about this film has kind of got a little bit of controversy with it. Again, it's one of those things where it was mainly, the film is set in a futuristic Japan. It's, anime or manga.
Yeah,
and people got upset when they cast a white woman for the role. Of course, again, people saying Hollywood whitewashing stuff. I wasn't overly impressed with this trailer, honestly. I don't think I'm going to be too into it. Although I did get a very slight like Blade Runner vibe from it too. So maybe if they kind of play off that. I'm not familiar with the original source material, Ghost in the Shell. Again, anime and manga is one of those things where throughout my life I've tried to get into it because I see the story value of it. Something like Akira or Dragon Ball Z or stuff like that. I respect the story and the depth of the story, but whenever I actually try to sit down and watch it, maybe it's the anime style that I can't get into. And it's not like, oh no, it all sucks. I've tried, guys, I really have, but I just can't get into it. So again, not being familiar with the source material and just judging it off this trailer, I'm not too excited about it, really.
I thought that the trailer, based on what you got from the story from the trailer, it looks to me like a story that's already been it's like the same premise. This person who has been rebooted, revamped, saved, whatever, made into some kind of professional killing machine. It's like a Jason Bourne, where they, it gave me like a very like Jason Bourne vibe and almost like where they somehow in the movie they discover that maybe they didn't volunteer for this or maybe they didn't. They stole their life. Like the premise that I got from the movie looks to me like something that's already been done more than once. So I don't know. It's gonna have like semi-naked Scarlett Johansson, so guys are gonna want to see it. Whatever.
Well, that's one of those things too, where people are talking about whitewashing and all that. You can't take a film like this. That's why Scarlett Johansson is a recognizable name. So film studios, they're investing in the film. They want to get their returns. So how do they make sure they get the best investment for a property that's kind of far out there and lesser known? You get a known star to, play in it. So, in that instance, you got to think of it from a business perspective, okay? Mm-hmm. The studios want to get the best return on their investment. How do you do that? By making sure it succeeds. How do you make sure it succeeds? By putting a familiar face in there that, people know and be like, oh, I like her movies. I'll go see this one with her in it. Mm-hmm. So, putting some unknown, Asian actor or actress in this.
Only the people who were familiar with source material would go to see that.
Yeah, exactly. So again, the studio wants to make their money back. But you can tell it's based from a manga, style with the setting and, the way the costumes were and all that. I definitely got that kind of anime vibe from it. I thought that the song choice was interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
That,
I wasn't sure how I felt about it. It almost seemed like too much.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but I enjoyed it. It was interesting. Again, I'm not overly excited for the film. I'll probably end up seeing it, but it depends on how the other trailers make it look. Mm-hmm. And I'll wait and see how early reviews go. So
of course you'll go see it. It's semi-naked Scarlett Johansson.
But she's not fully naked, so
you don't know that. She could
if I could go watch a film with fully naked Scarlett Johansson if I wanted to, it's the tease. But in any event, all right, guys. So moving on to our last story of the day and the last trailer. This morning, Disney dropped the first official trailer for the upcoming live-action adaptation of Beauty and the Beast. The film is going to be directed by Bill Condon. I think that's how you say it.
Condon.
Yes, and it stars Emma Watson, Dan Stevens, Luke Evans, Kevin Kline, Josh Gad, Ewan McGregor, Stanley Tucci. I'm keeping it going on. Ian McKellen, Emma Thompson. Pretty much
anyone you think of.
Elite is what we're saying here. Now, in this new incarnation of Beauty and the Beast, it gives Belle a different backstory. In the original animated classic, her father Maurice was an inventor who was trying to sell this wood chopping machine. But in this one, Belle is actually going to be the inventor. She actually creates music boxes that her father helps her build, and she actually ends up inventing a washing machine so she could spend her time instead reading books. The film is going to be released on March 17th, 2017, St. Patrick's Day. You can go see, drink a couple of Guinnesses and go see Beauty and the Beast.
Sounds fine to me.
All right. So, Lisa, you saw the trailer. It's interesting, too, because just the other night we watched the animated film as well.
With Nora.
With Nora, exactly. So, it was interesting a few days later that we get the first official trailer for it. So, it's kind of good because it was fresh in my mind as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did you think of it?
I think it's going to be amazing. Mm-hmm. Like, I love the look of the Beast. I love the look of, like, the characters. Like, when they showed in this trailer, Lumiere and Cogsworth and Mrs. Potts. Like, I love how they did it. It looks amazing.
Maybe just because I knew who the actors were, but I could immediately tell who was voicing them. Mm-hmm. Ian McKellen, I immediately got him. Emma Thompson, I immediately got her as Mrs. Potts. Ewan McGregor, I didn't catch him till the second time as... Lumiere, because he tried to do the French. It's like, because Ian McGregor, he's what, Scottish, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so it's a Scotsman. He used to doing an American voice, but now he's trying to do like a French voice. So it's interesting. I've never, heard him do that before, but that was interesting.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think that the look of all those characters was much better than I thought it was gonna be. I love the scenery. I think that...
Oh, the set design looks beautiful.
Oh, beautiful. I think Emma Watson as Belle is going to be amazing because she's amazing. Actress anyway, and she's gorgeous, and I think it's going to be perfect.
What do you think of the new twist on her as far as with her character?
Oh, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be really, really good. I hate that. I kind of am mad that I think it's going to be so good because I feel like Disney's going kind of overboard with their planning for all these live action ones coming up. Like, I think they're really going kind of like... This one worked and that one is going to work. So let's just make everything live action.
So they started out kind of rocky. They kind of started with Alice in Wonderland and Maleficent. And while those made money, because they went off the brand recognition, they weren't really critically accepted. Mm-hmm. Cinderella was kind of the turning point where, it was a great movie. It was based off one of their animated series. And then next you had Jungle Book, which, again, amazing. So one would say they've turned the corner. They learned from their mistakes. They're on the right track.
But now they want to make everything. They want to make everything.
Action. Well, they want to make money, because again, it's an established property. It's a brand name. That's why you have, again, so many sequels and all this other stuff, because you're more likely to go see, Transformers 5 than some movie property you've never heard of before. And that's what it comes down to as well. But I like how, again, starting with Cinderella, they took their basic premise, and they're kind of expanding more on it, though. I mean, you can tell just from this trailer, the different dialogue, or they're using some of the same dialogue, but adding more to it, adding different spins, and just, adding more to the lore is what it is. And like they did in Cinderella. I love what they did that in Cinderella, and I think they're doing more of that in this film. And again, they had the music, the score.
The music is the best.
I'm very curious if they're really going to use that original score throughout the film, or if it's just, maybe they teased it for the trailer.
I don't know. I bet that I'm sure they're going to have new music, but I bet it'll be, like, on that theme. Like, I think they'll have the original music kind of mixed in.
And, speaking of music, I'm curious to see what, how the actor's going to do with the singing.
I don't know.
Because I've never heard Emma Watson sing. Have you?
No, but I'm sure she's good at it.
I mean,
I've heard some of the other people. I mean, Josh Gad, Ewan McGregor. I mean, Stanley Tucci. Kevin Kline. I've heard all of them sing.
I forget who's Stanley Tucci playing. I forget.
Oh, I don't know who he's playing.
I forget.
He's awesome though. I love Stanley Tucci.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. And Ewan McGregor gonna have to belt out Be Our Guest. That'll be interesting as well.
He's gonna
nail it.
I
haven't seen some of these guys sing, but I'm very curious. Like I said, we just watched the film.
You've never seen Ewan McGregor sing?
No. In Moulin Rouge. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, I didn't like that film. So
yeah, but he's good.
I'll give it that. So now I totally forgot about that. So yes, okay, I'll give him that credit. But yeah, I said we just watched the animated film, thinking of the songs and thinking how they can be portrayed in a live action sense. You got one shot in here of Emma Watson kind of in the meadow. And I'm like, is that where she's belting out the, what is the reprise? What's that song?
The reprise.
Yeah, the reprise of the small town song or whatever.
It's called a reprise, not a reprise.
Okay. Anyway.
I'm just saying.
Yes. But yeah, I love that part in the anime class where she belts out, in the meadow part there. And I'm curious to see what it's going to sound like with her voice. Is she going to bring that same commanding voice to that song.
I think she can do it easily.
I think she can do it. And of course, we'll see, Luke Evans and Josh Gad doing Gaston. That'll be interesting. I heard from, D23? They saw a preview of that scene, and everyone said it looks phenomenal. Again, I think now that I'm thinking about it, the music has got me what's most curious.
I'm really excited for this. And I really would like to take Nora to see this. You think it'll be too scary?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know. I really am curious about that, honestly. If we could check. Because, again, the Beast...
I mean, the animated one scared her.
Yeah, that's true. She was kind of...
She nestled into me several times and tried to cover her
especially when they
face.
first introduced the Beast and tried to make him scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we might have to hold off.
Yeah,
honestly.
I'll have to see.
We might have to hold off a little bit on that. But just for the same reason, like I said, I don't think she would be scared of the live-action Jungle Book because of Shere Khan.
I know. God,
I mean, he was scary to me,
yeah.
you know? So,
yeah.
you know, when they come off and they try to make this, you know, Beast scary, which I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the Beast being live action. And
he looked good.
He looked good. I wasn't sure. I was curious. With this trailer and just in general, it started off and I was like, yeah, whatever, you know, it's okay. And then as the trailer went on, I liked it more and more. And by the end of the trailer, I was totally excited about it. I was totally hooked in. I'm like, yes, let's do this. So I think it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. Again, I think Disney has learned its lesson from Alice in Wonderland, because if you look at Alice in Wonderland and Maleficent, those were a slant. You know, they weren't direct interpretations. You know, Maleficent was from the bad guy's point of view. Alice in Wonderland was from like a sequel to the Alice in Wonderland story. But Cinderella and Jungle Book were direct adaptations of the story. So I think they've learned their lesson now, and they're going to move on from there. So, cool. All right, guys. Well, that is going to be it for us today. If you have any comments or want to get your 2 cents in on any of these conversations, hit us up, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. You can also find us on the Facebook group or on Twitter as well. Find me personally on Twitter and Instagram, SlimDayspring12. And that's going to be it for us. We'll be back next week with a whole new batch of stories to talk about. Lisa, anything else you want to add before we go?
Just I would recommend go see Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge, yes, guys, we saw that. It was
very good.
It was a very good film.
Very violent.
Definitely going to get some Oscar attention. And be on the lookout. Probably, I'm sure, sometime this next weekend, we're going to do some kind of Fantastic Beasts review. We're going to see it Thursday night. It's a later showing, so I doubt we'll do anything right afterwards, unless Lisa is just like totally psyched up and excited afterwards. Maybe, but I doubt it. So look for that this next coming weekend, and we'll get something together. So until then, guys, may the Force be with us all.